How's it going, guys? It's TacTixHD here bringing my 2013 NHL Stanley Cup playoff predictions. I'm really happy to see there's playoffs, guys. In about January, I was really worried there wasn't going to be an NHL season. I wasn't going to say I didn't think there would be, but I was, it was looking like it was going to be pretty close, and I'm so glad that we actually got a season and, of course, the playoffs. So, this playoffs are really cool, guys. This is actually the first time in like 20, 25 years all original six teams have made it, which is crazy. As well, we have four Canadian teams in the playoffs, and there hasn't been four in a while. I think the last, 5 years it's been two or three teams, so glad to see four Canadian teams make it. Of course, also Detroit was able to squeak in, which is always good. I'm a Detroit fan, 22 straight years, unbelievable. Even without Lindstrom, we were able to get it done. Besides that, guys, when I get on to my predictions, I'm not going to predict games, guys. I'm simply going to predict who's going to win. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how many games they win; it just matters who moves on. So, in the West, guys, we have the number one seed Chicago Blackhawks taking on the number 8 seed Minnesota Wild. I'm going to take Chicago in this one. A couple of reasons. One, they've been on a roll since the start of the NHL, possibly the best team in the NHL. They got the playoff experience that Minnesota is lacking, and I think they're just all in all the better team. Second game, guys, we have Anaheim Ducks, number 2 seed against Detroit Red Wings, number 7 seed. I'm going to seem biased here, guys, but I really think Detroit can pull this one out. They got better experience. They've won their last 4 games to push them into that playoff spot. Howard's playing great. Datsuk and Zetterberg are both on fire, and I think they can just overtake Anaheim. And, it might be biased, but we'll see what happens. The third matchup, guys, we have the number 3 Vancouver Canucks playing the number 6 San Jose Sharks. I'm going to take Vancouver in this one. I remember on TSN they were saying how if Vancouver could have any matchup, their best matchup would be San Jose. I agree with that. I think Vancouver and San Jose are both skilled teams, and I think Vancouver has more skill, as well better goaltending. And, they've been in the playoffs, really, really good contender the last 2 or 3 years. And I think, they're going to push again this year and definitely get out of the quarterfinal stage. In the fourth matchup, guys, we have the St. Louis Blues against the LA Kings. This is possibly the hardest matchup for me to pick. Both very good teams. Obviously, number 4 and 5 are usually the hardest matchup to pick. And I think it's going to be a really close series. And I really want to take the LA Kings simply because last year LA beat St. Louis 4-0. So, if you're going to get swept by a team and both your teams really didn't change. St. Louis added Leopold and Bouwmeester on the back end. LA added Regier. And, they're pretty similar teams. And I think LA just is a better team to go up against St. Louis. St. Louis is kind of lacking playoff experience. LA won the Cup last year. And I don't think LA is going to win it again this year, but I do think they're going to edge St. Louis this year. But look for St. Louis to be Stanley Cup contender in the next year or two with how youthful their team is. Anyway, guys, we're going on to the East now. We have the number 1 seed Pittsburgh Penguins against the number 8 seed New York Islanders. Pretty obvious pick here. I'm going to go with the Penguins. Kind of feel bad for the Islanders getting matched up against the Penguins in their first playoff appearance since like 2007, but it happens, and the Penguins are definitely going to win that series. The next matchup, guys, we have the number 2 Montreal Canadiens against the number 7 Ottawa Senators. I feel bad for saying this, guys. I know I'm going to get a lot of hate, but I really think the Senators can pull this win out. They've been playing great hockey without their 3-star players, Spezza, Carlson, and Anderson. They've got Anderson back, who can play really well between the pipes, and of course Carlson is arguably the best defenseman in the league, one of the best players in the league, and having him is just a huge boost to their team, and I really think they can upset the Canadiens. In the third matchup, guys, we have number 3 Capitals against number 6 Rangers. I think the Rangers are going to win this one. The Rangers and Capitals are really close in points. The Rangers actually might have had more points than the Capitals. The Capitals division was so bad, and the Rangers have been playing really good hockey in the new year, just like Detroit. They put together 3 or 4 wins in a row and make sure they got that playoff spot, and I think the Rangers can actually make a run at this cup, so I'm going to have the Rangers take that one. And the final matchup, guys, we have Toronto versus Boston, Phil Kessel versus Tyler Seguin, whatever you want to call it. And I think I'm going to go with Boston in this one simply because Boston, they won the Cup a couple years ago. They've got better goaltending. They got more depth. And, I'd like to see Toronto make it far into the playoffs, but I really don't see it happening. So I'm going to take Boston with this one. What I was hoping for, though, guys, I'm not going to lie, on Sunday I was really hoping Boston would have beat Ottawa because Ottawa would have lost those 2 points and been the 8th seed. Boston would have got those 2 points, been the number 2 seed. And what would have happened is Pittsburgh would have played Ottawa, which would have been a great series. Erik Karlsson versus Matt Cook, whatever you want to call it, would have been going on. Would have been a lot of fun to watch. And then Toronto would have played Montreal for just probably one of the best playoff series in a while. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. I still think there's some great matchups here. And just to go over it again, guys, I'm picking Chicago, Detroit, Vancouver, LA, Pittsburgh, Ottawa, New York, and Boston. So we'll see what happens. In regards to the regular season predictions I had, guys, I was actually 7 for 8 in the West and 5 for 8 in the East. Did not expect the Islanders, Canadiens, or Toronto or the Ducks to make the playoffs, but I think that's pretty good odds. Let me know who you guys think is going to win these playoff series in the comments, and stay tuned for my NHL 13 videos, guys. Besides that, thanks for watching. Have a nice day. Goodbye.